Merry Christmas, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful Christmas season. To my new subscribers, my name is Sam G. I'm your lifestyle and personal finance guy. To my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate you guys tuning in with each like, with each comment, with each follow. I really appreciate it. With today's video, I'm going to be giving some tips on time management. And I think this is very essential going into the new year. You know, this is the time of the year where we make a lot of resolutions, and making realistic resolutions as well as making resolutions that you can actually follow through with are very important. So that's what I'm going to be discussing in today's video, time management tips for 2022. My first tip for effective time management is to set your goals properly. And what I mean by that is you should set goals that are measurable and achievable. I use something called the SMART method, which is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-sensitive goals. So you want to set goals that are realistic. You don't want to set too much of a big picture in terms of your goals. You have to set it like one step at a time. You know what they say, little drops make a mighty ocean. So you want to set your goals a little at a time, focus on 1 week at a time, and that will really help you in the long run see the bigger picture when you have little goals that combine together to help you achieve a bigger goal. So you want to set your goals properly. You want to start off small, then build up. Always remember that the whole purpose behind time management is not actually to change time. It's actually to change your behavior and how you spend your time. And a good place to start would be to eliminate your personal time wasters. For a lot of us, I know it's social media, Instagram, Facebook. Nowadays, it's even becoming LinkedIn. So you want to limit how much time you spend on social media, for instance, and set goals. For example, you can set a goal, for instance, to not take calls or not answer any messages when you're at work, or in this time period in the evening when you're focusing on maybe your 9 to 5 or your side hustle or something. Set goals like that to help you make sure that you're being productive at the times where you've set aside to be productive. And that really helps you eliminate some of your personal time wasters. So keep that in mind. Make sure your goals are attainable, they're realistic, and also make sure that you're sticking to the plans that you have on paper to meet. Because what's the point of a resolution if you're not going to follow it? You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you're sticking to the resolutions that you set. You're sticking to the little goals that you set for yourself, and make sure you're doing your best to get it done. My next tip for you is for you to prioritize your time and your tasks wisely. To help you do this, I have categorized them into 4 main categories. We have the important and urgent, we have the important but not urgent, then we have the urgent but not important, and we have the not urgent and not important. So important and urgent, you should do those right away. Important but not urgent, you can decide when you want to do those tasks, right? And urgent but not important, you can delegate them to other people to help you if possible. And if it's not urgent and it's not important, you can always do it later. So make sure that you're always prioritizing all your tasks every day, even if it's at work. The same way that when you work on your projects, you kind of prioritize some things that you do and things you do later. Same things should apply to your life. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I find it funny that sometimes a lot of the things and values that we learn at work, if we apply it to our lives, we'll be doing so much better than we are now. But for some reason, it's like we're hard on ourselves at work, but then when we get home, we kind of just go easy on ourselves a little bit. But you just want to make sure that you're categorizing every single thing that comes your way and deciding when you should do it and when you can do it and how beneficial of a utility it would be for you to do it at certain times. So again, important and urgent, you should do those right away. Important but not urgent, you can decide when to do them. And then you have your urgent but not important that you can always delegate, or you can find a specific time to do it. And you have your not urgent and not important. You can always do those later. So that's tip number 2, learn to prioritize your tasks wisely. Tip number 3, set a time limit for your tasks. Setting time constraints for your task helps you become more focused and efficient. It also helps you recognize potential problems that may arise while you're getting your tasks done. So I highly encourage you to set up a time limit for each task that you have to do and make sure that you're performing within those time constraints. And if you're not, you can go back and assess and then review how you could improve on that. And that will really help you in the long run to become more efficient in how you're dealing with things. For instance, reading and replying to emails can take an entire day if you let it. Instead, what I suggest you do is set aside an hour a day and stick to that hour to reply to just email, read emails, review your coworkers' emails, whatever have you, anything email related, do within that hour, and then after that, move on to the next thing. That way you have dedicated timetable scheduled things that you have to do, and you can work efficiently and be focused on one thing at a time and get it done properly. So these are some of the instances where you could look back into how you spend your day and make sure that you're reviewing and improving upon your time schedule. Again, if you can't improve it if you can't measure it. So look at how you're spending your time in a day and look at some of the areas where you could perhaps shift some of these strategies into your time to see how you can best have a more productive day. Tip number 4. This is a tip that I should honestly learn to take myself, but learn to take breaks. When you do a lot of tasks without taking a break, it makes it harder for you to stay focused and motivated. So what I suggest you do is go for a walk, take a nap, go watch some TV, play video games. What I personally like to do, I like watching Kitchen Nightmares, Hell's Kitchen, Survivor Island. I watch some random shows on YouTube, some past shows, post-air shows. And I also like to just watch chiropractor videos, weirdly enough. But just my whole point here is to just take some sort of break where you can just relax, take your mind off your work for a little bit, and then go back to it. Even if it's 10, 15 minutes, it's better than just working 6 hours straight and then just burning out. So learn to take a break every single time that you do a lot of tasks or any time that you feel like you're being burned out. Make sure you take a break, okay? Take a break. Tip number 5, organize yourself. You should definitely learn to use your calendar for long-term time management projects. So if you have any deadlines, you have any tasks that are part of an overall project, or you just want to put a reminder to get groceries or pay your bills or anything like that, you should definitely learn to use a calendar. While I was in college, I used Google Calendar a lot to see when my assignments were due. So the minute I had a quiz or something, I would set a date so I wouldn't miss it. So I'll be better prepared when I step into class. And you should definitely keep in mind and think about what days to designate certain tasks. Some tasks are better done on certain days, like on days where you have less work, you can do more involving tasks, and days where you have more work, you can do easy tasks that you have to get out of the way. So it really depends. So on that note, you have to play by ear and figure out what's the best time to do certain things. The great part of having a routine is that whenever you have a monkey wrench or any crisis thrown at you, you're able to stay focused, and that's very important when it comes to staying on task with your deadlines, staying on task with things you have to do with family, things you have to do, say if you have a church or just school, if you're going to school part-time. Having some sort of routine that helps you kind of get over that is very important. Another benefit of having a calendar for your time management is so you can avoid something called action faking. Action faking is essentially doing things that make you feel like you're making progress when you're actually not making any progress. So it's like procrastination squared. So let me give you an example. Have you ever felt the need to suddenly clean your room or do something productive when you had an assignment due in 3 hours or had a project due at 11:59 p.m.? That's essentially what action faking is. It tricks your brain into thinking that you're actually doing something productive, but you're not actually doing anything productive. So they're doing the right thing at the wrong time is still essentially wrong, right? So you want to avoid action faking by having a routine and sticking to that routine. And how you kind of manage through that routine is by having some set calendar goal for the week, some set calendar goal for the month, and then just following that as best as you can. It's going to be hard the first couple of times, but as soon as you fall into the routine, everything just becomes easier and more manageable. Tip number 6. Remove non-essential tasks or activities. It is important to remove activities that are not essential to your growth or to, whatever goals that you have, and then determine what are significant and deserve your time, right? So you need to just look at your time wasters. What do you spend too much time on? It could be YouTube, or it could be Netflix, or it could be just Instagram. I know that's one for a lot of people. There's Twitter as well. So you need to look at these things and kind of just determine how much time are you spending on certain things. It doesn't have to be social media. It can be certain habits that you have, certain things that you do that might be wasting your time. They might be good, yes, but they're not essential to your growth as a person and just where you want to go in life. So definitely remove all non-essential tasks or activities in your life and just watch yourself just grow from there. You never know what you might find out. You might have more time to spend on something more productive. That's really going to be of benefit to you in a very long run. My 7th and final tip is that you should always plan ahead. Before you begin your day each day, you want to have a clear idea of what you want to get accomplished that day. And also after every single workday, you want to write a to-do list for the next workday, so you're always going into the next day prepared. An important aspect of planning is delegation. We live in a world where it's not a one-man show, so you can't do everything by yourself, right? So you want to look through your tasks, the ones that are moderately essential, you can delegate that out to people so you can make the most of your time and focus on the really important tasks, and that way you can be more productive with your day. Not all of us might be in positions where we can delegate, that's fine, but if you can, you definitely should. That way you're making the most of your time. That's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and if you have any topics that you want me to talk about, you can just leave that in the comment section, or you can reach out to me on Instagram at Koffeekeyz. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.